The superpower that every citizen has is the ability to control where they spend their time, money, and attention. By focusing these on supporting local businesses, you are having a profound impact on your friends, your family, and your local community. So if you want to change the world, you can start with buying local.
My name is Kris Jordan. I am the owner and founder of Nourishing Tutoring. We are a small family-run tutoring business. We cover anything from pre-K through college. I think every kid is different. Every student learns differently. Every student has strengths and weaknesses. I myself am always learning. I'm always trying to learn something new. And I think I bring that to my students, that love for learning.
Nourishing Minds Tutoring.
So we were just talking about the ice bath, but there's a ton of science behind the ice bath stuff being able to help you with blood sugar. There's a whole thing with the brown fat. I don't know if you're familiar with the brown fat versus white fat, adipose tissues. So the brown fat is supposed to do a bunch of different things for you, one of which is to help you regulate blood sugar. What are the other benefits that you get after 6 weeks? I got to think about this for a second. It's blood pressure. Not to mention just like what it does for inflammation in your body.
That's what I noticed right away because I've been training at Battleground next door.
Yeah.
And
move that mic a little closer to you. Sorry.
I just been a lot like really sore every day, and I'm like trying to get through it, and I have to stand all day.
Yeah.
So it's a little frustrating. So I feel like 94 years old getting out of bed, and then the first day, it was 2 days ago. I said, you know what, I got to get started. So it was at 63 degrees. That was the lowest I can get because I put all the ice in it. And when I got out of it, but I stayed in it for like 15 minutes because I started getting comfortable. And I know it was a little higher, but, you have to average and take your time to get down to that lower. And I had no pain. I was in shock. I was like, holy cow, my back's feeling good.
Yeah.
I just had a lot of inflammation, and I can't have medicine like ibuprofen or anything like that because I'm a type 1 diabetic. 4 years ago, I was diagnosed, so my whole life changed. And so that like helps me tremendously. And I'm like, okay, this is going to be better for me than I just don't like taking medications. Or
I'm with you. Plus, listen, those NSAIDs are freaking terrible for you anyway. No one should be taking that shit. Unless you have to. I mean, unless you're really banged up and it's like... Right. The downside of taking NSAIDs is worse than whatever pain you're dealing with. But I'm with you. I don't like to take that stuff either, man.
No, I just try to, take my time. I mean, last summer I fell off a skateboard, and I hurt my shoulder so bad, and I thought I tore it, and they said no, it's just inflammation. And my wife's a nurse, so she told me that she's like, you have to take medication to keep the inflammation down because I'm cutting all day. And I'm so stubborn, and then I realized maybe I had to. So I started taking like one ibuprofen here and there, but I couldn't sleep. I couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
But afterwards, it took 6 months to get me recovered, and because no matter what, I have to work. And so I have to cut hair and go through that. So I'm utilizing my shoulders all the time.
I'm doing the old man glasses thing.
It's okay.
I can't see anymore without glasses. I'm trying to read the screen on the podcast recorder, and I can't read it.
That's what happens to me at night. So when I'm cutting all day, you got to look at those hair follicles, and so I'm tired, so I have to put those cheaters on. Yeah. But it's starting to count. I'm hitting 40, I hit 40, and I'm hitting 41 this year. And
47, bro.
You're 40? You don't look 47.
Thank you.
You really are?
Yeah, legit. 47.
Oh, jeez, you got more than I do.
It's freaking weird. It's weird to say, man. Yeah. And you know what's funny? The team was making fun of me because they're all a bunch of young kids. Yeah. And they do like silly shit like you see on Facebook. So one day everybody was like coming up with what color everybody was, and then they were like what video game character everybody was, and what car everybody was, and Kat was like, "Oh, Mike's like a beat up old rusty pickup truck or something." I was like, wow, dude. I'm like, that hurts. But legit, it's really funny. I don't want to say feel old because I still don't feel old, but like saying I was 46 when I was 46 wasn't a big deal. Saying I'm 47, it's messing with me because I'm like, wow, wait, I'm 47. Like I'm legit almost 50 years old. Yeah. It's nuts, bro.
But sometimes you just like, I felt 40, like, so about a couple of years ago, I kind of stopped doing training. I was in training all my life. Well, almost 20 years. I did competitions, and I just fell right into
like bodybuilding stuff. Oh, no shit.
And so I always gained weight, lost weight, gained weight, lost weight. So that maybe that caused a lot of things when I got really sick in 2020. But I really dove in. I fell in love with cutting hair. My dad was a barber. My stepdad was a barber. My grandfather was a barber. I just didn't want to be in their, I don't want to follow in their footsteps. And, but I went to the corporate world for a long time. Yeah. And I said, it's just not for me. I love talking to people. I don't like, pushing or selling stuff. And I just want to be able to talk to people. We're like therapists. We talk about. Oh, yeah, man. It's unreal. I like talking with people. So even when I'm having a rough day, when someone comes in, my life changes because it's like, it's exciting, talking about their lives, but sometimes I don't see people for like 3 months. It's fun because I cut a lot of hair off and they change transformation. But the most rewarding thing after all that time I put courses in through advanced courses in the US, and I'm finishing my first year in the UK for courses. So it's like different hairstyles.
Now you're doing that online, right?
I'm doing it online. I'm not going over there. So it was, but it's just, I dove right in and I took a lot, like an hour to 2 hours at night. So it kind of stopped my physical, but I needed to get back into it. So I'm still doing both. So I'm just trying to be, have a structure and organized. So training in the morning and, doing a little bit of coursework at night.
Now you're training with Zabala over at. Yep. He was just on actually. Yeah. I think when this comes out, the order it'll come out. I think Zabala will be on the episode right before you.
Oh really?
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. Yeah. Yeah. No, he they're very aware of what I am, my type 1, but I'm like extremely aware. So I look at my Apple Watch. I'm like, okay. But some workouts, my blood sugar goes through the roof. Yeah, it's just explosions for workouts. And then, then some of them drop. So like my Fridays are leg days with Ken Rhodes. And I tell you, it's like, okay, it's probably going to go up. But no, it starts. So I have to get like 2 little apple juices with me just to make sure I keep going with it. But they're very aware. And what's really nice that, they're very educated on it. Yeah. Even Steven, he's one of the hardest workouts on Wednesdays. Steve's you should try to do it sometime, man. Come on.
I'm not going to call Steve out about not showing up for our workout on Sunday, but he didn't show up for our workout on Sunday. No, he's a good dude. He's super knowledgeable too as far as fitness, nutrition. Mm-hmm. So
he's got the green fork. I started going over there and just picking up a meal here and there, and I'm like, you know what? It's very structured because I have a crazy life. My 3 girls. Yeah. As soon as I get home, I'm always taking care of them, or in the morning, it's me. My wife leaves at 4:00. She drives to Rutland, and I'm the one that, has to make sure they're all getting ready, making sure they're
that's right, because she's a travel nurse.
She's a travel nurse, yeah. So she travels, but she drives back every day. But
that's nice at least.
Yeah, and she's just exhausted, and I'm like, this is the last contract for Monday through Friday. She wants to do it 3 days a week, but hopefully, my goal is to make sure she comes home because, she wants to be a mom more. Yeah. And I
didn't realize the prevalency of travel nursing.
Yeah.
Like of how many hospitals, nursing, like so many people utilize those services now because there's such a shortage of healthcare workers.
Oh, and it's tough seeing my wife come home sometimes because, dealing with like she works in the OR, and she's a mother, and she tells me a couple, operations she's done, but then she's dealing with mothers that, stillborns, and that's the hardest things. I got to be there for her, and it's just like, I'm so sorry, I can't understand, but I'll be there as much as I can. But my main goal is, this is the reason why I opened my shop. Yeah, is wanting my wife to come home by the end of the year, and so she could be a mom more, have a lot more time with the kids. Yeah, we kind of did this so we can pay off some, her traveling. She could pay off more of the debt that we have. Yeah. And, have a better life for our kids in the future.
So for the kids at home, tell us who you are. What do you do?
I'm Kris Jordan, and I'm a barber, master barber. I'll just say barber. And
dude, you got credentials, man. I know that shit.
I know. I just, either way, this is what I love to do. I have a shop at right on Maple Avenue. It's right off the exit 15. Saratoga. I just I worked at the Barber Lounge with Matt Schufeld. He was amazing. He showed me the ropes. Told him a year ago that I walked away from a 6-figure job to do this and start from scratch again.
Yeah.
The only way I could have done that is my wife could have, so I went back to school. I was in Plattsburgh for 4 years.
Yeah.
Got a marketing and management degree, but then I was there for a while. I just didn't like to work 70 hours and had no life. So I, took the plunge and I go, I had my wife say, can you sacrifice 6 months and so I can be able to go back to school? Because I want to do men's and women's hair.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. I loved it and just fell in love with it. And so I went to I went to like 10 different shops. I wanted to see how, because you got to get along with everybody at every shop, So I went from Clifton Park to Glens Falls, everywhere. And then when I met Matt, I was just like, wow. I was like, this is great. It's like, it's beautiful there. Mm-hmm. He's about 2-3 miles way up on Maple Avenue. Yeah. And I told him, it's like, I'm going to be an owner one day. It's just, I'm not sure when. It's like, these are my specific goals. And Matt was in business too. And so he knows, and I did everything I could. And so I worked quite hard there, and, put the hours in. Yeah. I put all the hours in from 9 to 7 every day. I was just starting from scratch, and then I built a good, nice clientele, and I cared about everybody that comes in. I'm always on time. I was always there before everybody, and there before, everybody left.
That's it. First in, last out, right? That's what it takes sometimes. Or all the time. It's good. And so I had a person that reached out and was like, hey, I have a place down here, and it was an opportunity. I remember, I think the second day at Paul Mitchell, Thomas Russell, he was a teacher there and just retired. And he goes, most importantly is you want to be near a salon and a gym, and you want to have easy parking and easy access to it. And as soon as I saw this place, I go, I don't even care what it is. It's like, I know it's going to do great. Yeah. Want to keep positive. So, taking that leap of faith of going into a business, it's the scariest moment of my life, because I didn't know if anybody was going to, but I explained to Matt, and, he was very happy for me. And so I moved forward, and that was it. And the rest is history. It's just, I started building everything. I had to, my wife was working Monday through Friday, so my kids were in school, and I had to build all the chairs, the stations. Yeah, man. But, it's like, it's going to pay off. It's going to pay off, and just trying to keep positive with it. Takes time to build. The first day I opened, it was just, it was a breath of fresh air. People were coming to see me. I was so blessed. I was so blessed. I understand the gym. Being next to a gym. Why do they say put you next to a salon? It's the most important too, because the hairstyle, the ladies over there are talking to their husbands. And I had that, and they came over, and the owner over there, Tara, I can't remember her last name, but Tara, she came and came over, and I wanted to know them, right away. It's like, there's no riffraff. It's like, it's a family owned business. And no drugs, no nothing. It's like, trust me, it's like, this is going to be great. And so I want them to wear it, because sometimes, people judge you right off the bat with tattoos. Like, you have them, I have them. Yeah. And I'm like, no. So, but here's the salons, and then people just walking by. I know we're behind that bank, not First Niagara. First National? Maybe First National. I don't know what it is, yeah. But it's right by the Triangle Diner. Yeah. And, but it's still, it's word of mouth. It's referrals, just trying to get our name out there. And, I didn't want to hire anybody for a while, and just someone came in. It was Reagan Gerard. She's been in the industry for about 5 years, and she's been cutting for about 3 years. So she took the leap of faith, because I told her, I go, if you do leave, it's like, you will lose business, just like I did. Yeah. But no matter what, it'll take time and patience, and you'll get back up. Yeah, you probably, whenever you do a move like that, right, you're gonna end up losing a couple of clients, because they just get used to the location. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And they stay with the location. That's respectable. Yeah. But I want people to be warned that, hey, that's what's just gonna happen, and so you might lose a little money and then bring yourself back up. So let's back up a little bit. Yeah. Because you have a great story, and I just, so 2020. So tell us a little bit about finding out about your type 1 diabetic, because that's crazy. Because you're 40 years old? I'm 40 years old, so I was 41. I will be 41. So I think I was 36 or 37, and so I got really sick in 2020, and I don't blame it on the COVID side, but when I got sick, I didn't remember for a whole week, and I remember I was bedridden, and then I woke up.
But I went to go get tested a couple times with the flu A and the flu B, and they said, no, you don't have it. I'm like, this is the worst thing I've ever had. And my wife's just like, something's wrong. And I'm like, I'm not sure, And so we kind of maybe guessed it, but we couldn't been tested for COVID.
Yeah.
And so, I've already had it 4 times.
Was that early on?
It was before really it started with everybody started panicking and stuff. I say, hey, maybe it could have been COVID because they couldn't have tested it. But I don't remember if, the taste buds, but it was so weird. And then after that week, I started feeling better, but I started drinking gallons of water. And I'm like, I know my body. As a bodybuilder, you drop weight to get to like 4% body fat. And then, I'm like, something's wrong. And I'm drinking gallons and I'm peeing all the time. And I'm like, something's wrong. I know my body more than anybody else. And I try to tell people, you should know your body. Doctors sometimes just assume. So I went to the doctor and they're like, you're type 2. I'm like, how am I type 2? It's like my wife looked at my A1C because every 3 months you got to get blood work. So like right after today, I'm going to get my blood work done.
Oh, no kidding.
And so it was like about 7.2, and that's okay for diabetes, but they're like, no, you type 2. You're type 2. I'm like, my wife's like, no, you're not. So one day I just took the day off. I was working in corporate, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna go to Subway. I'm going to eat 2 subs because I can eat a lot of food. So I ate 2 subs, and I remember it was jalapeno chips. I sat down. I was getting my feet done, and I started pricking myself. I started going up to 300, 360, 420. And I'm like, all right. As soon as I was done, I was like, I was 460. I was like, I got to run to the hospital. So I drove to the hospital, and I'm like, I need insulin. And they're like, no, we can't diagnose you with that because you're not a type 1 diabetic. I'm like, I'm at 460. So they rushed me in.
Type 2 people don't take
They
insulin?
do, but it's long acting, so they take 1 shot throughout the day. And so they were giving me metformin, but metformin wasn't really doing anything. And I was pricking. I'm like very self-aware of my body, and I was just pricking my finger. I rushed to the hospital, and they said, congratulations, you're a type 1 diabetic. They gave me 10 units of insulin. I brought it down. I felt so much better. I just don't know if they really wanted to diagnose me yet because I was so healthy. They didn't assume.
Yeah.
They assumed. And that's not something I'm like.
Well, my understanding with diabetes, it's not very common to find out that late in life.
No.
So either one, it was suppressed in your body and not really active, or 2, you literally just manage your symptoms your entire life.
Because I was so healthy.
Because you're so healthy.
So I might have been type 2 all my life. And then because being sick, that might have changed a lot of things.
It's crazy, man. The body is such a crazy, crazy machine.
Oh, yeah. Being with diabetic, it's like, I'd rather have a flu over a food poisoning.
Yeah.
Because with food poisoning, if my blood sugar drops, how am I going to ingest any kind of sugars to bring my blood sugar back up? So I panic.
Yeah,
that's
scary.
The only time I panic. But because of opening the business, I would have waited another year. This last December, I got really sick one night. Actually, 2 weeks before that, I had this cough, and I thought, the doctor assumed, hey, it might be pneumonia. I'm like, okay, never had that before. So they did an X-ray, and they said, nope, you don't. Here's albuterol. So albuterol kind of suppresses those coughs. And so for 2 weeks, I was starting to feel better. And then Thursday night, I remember it was in December. I went home, and I was like talking to my wife, and sometimes I just don't feel right. It's like, I'm going to go to bed early. And that's, so I went to bed, and I woke up, and my Apple Watch was still on, and it was average while resting at 130, 137. And I'm like, okay, something's wrong. And my wife had to work that next morning. That was her first week back on a contract. And I says, you know what? It's like, I'm going to reach out to Matt from Barber Lounge and, hey, listen, I can't come in. I'm at 102 fever too. So I'm like, I must have the flu. You know what? I'm going to just sleep it off. So my wife felt something off, and she kept calling me. And I was just bedridden. And, she had to call my mom. She works from home. And she rushed over, and she, woke me up, and I couldn't even speak. It was so weird. So my wife was on the phone with speakerphone with my mom, and she's like, you need to go to the hospital right now. Something's wrong. So they rushed me to the hospital. They brought me in. They tested everything, blood work. My white blood cell count was really high, and they don't know what it was. But so they were taking blood. They did a CAT scan, MRI. Then they figured out I did have pneumonia in there because they found it in the CAT scan. But what changed? It transitioned me into being septic.
Oh wow!
And so when
it's a good thing you did go to the hospital. Though.
Yeah.
Holy moly!
So at the end, it was 4 or 5 o'clock. I was starting to feel better. They guessed it. They put the antibiotics in, and I started feeling better. So my wife finally came back from Rutland. She came in early, and she spoke to the doctor because the doctor finally got there and said, "Hey, he had sepsis, and if this was a day later, it's like we wouldn't have this conversation." And that's when I knew I can't regret something. I can't regret anything. Saying I wish I did this. I wish I did that. Yeah. So I want to take care of my body a lot more, and that could have been it. And I said, you know what? Screw this. I'm going to start looking. I got to look around. It wasn't for anybody, but I wanted to do this for my family. I want to be able to spend a lot more time with the family too. Yeah. But it was just a scary moment in my life, and I said,
Sounds
it's time
scary.
to move. Yeah, it's time to move forward. But I didn't know what sepsis was until I was out of the hospital after 3 days. And then I Googled it because I was scared. I was there. My wife stayed one night and I stayed 2 more nights. I was just like, let me go home. And then I Googled it and I was like, you got one life. I want to enjoy every moment. Yeah. And it's like, this is what I love. I indulged in it.
So that's what pushed you into opening up your shop.
Yeah, because
love it.
If something happened or, I said, crap, I should have done that because that's what I wanted to do. Yeah. My dad had a barbershop. My grandfather had a barbershop. One was in Colorado.
Yeah, that's cool.
So I lived in a barbershop, but I just didn't want to do what they wanted. They did.
Yeah, yeah.
But I like to be creative. I like to not just have a regular haircut, but I love regular haircuts too. But I like doing designs, something different, something abstract.
I saw when you put up yesterday was a guy had almost like a crazy big mohawk type thing with real short on the sides. That was cool.
Yep. Oh yeah, with the reverse fade. Yeah. So that's Jared Green. He says he trusts me. He's like, go for it.
Yeah, do what you want. Yeah, that's cool.
Do what you want. So I've known him for almost 2 years now, and he's just like, let's do it. Yeah. And I was like, let's just.
Yeah, it looked badass, man. That was cool.
So, but he's like one of my favorites to, see but not every day that happens. So it's nice and it's an honor he lets me do those things.
One thing that really struck me when I came in, what was it, 2 weeks ago? Get my haircut?
I think so.
Yeah. It's just obviously you're very passionate about what you're doing, and and you enjoy what you're doing, and but also like. One of the things I appreciate about people is their ability to, when I think about the word professional, it's like, so it's one of our core values here at 5 Towers. It's professional. But to us, professional does not mean you're wearing a suit and tie and you're high and tight on the haircut, right? Yeah. Professional means that you self-educate, you want to be the best, you want to know more than the other, than your competitor. You want to, and so like with you, like you said, like you're doing all this. So tell us a little bit about, like you have that title, Master Barber. Mm-hmm. What does that mean?
It's not really. It's just a name. Mostly, it's just Barber. I have a license, but I see sometimes
everyone with a license is a Master Barber.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah. But I wanted to. When you brought it up, you said better, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to be better than anybody. I want to be better than myself from yesterday. Okay. And that is the most important thing because everybody else is. Has their own goals and specific goals. Mm-hmm. But I've always been an overachiever. I always wanted to see, I always try to reach out to those people that were successful in corporates. Like, how did you do it? And I try to be able to surround myself with all, the people that are successful. Mm-hmm. And, but, so that's why when I went to barbering, there's another thing I learned is, I was like, how do I do this? And so, YouTube can get you a certain point. But, certain systems, for haircuts and everything like that. I'm a structured person, just like when I was weighing my food when I was doing bodybuilding. Mm-hmm. I'm very structured. So, that's kind of, where I wanted, what I wanted to do. So that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, but you've gone beyond the normal schooling.
Right.
So tell us about, like those kinds of things? Like, what's the additional things that you've been doing?
So the additional things I'm doing is I did a course in the U.S. because when you go to a barbershop, not every person's going to help, because they're always busy. And so I'm like, how am I going to be able to get help? So I had a friend that worked at at Barber Lounge, and he said, you need to go in and find courses, go all in, He showed me a couple of YouTube places, YouTube videos, and I'm like, no, so it's time, you got to pay for it, And so I paid for it, and I started getting better. And I saw the pictures are getting better. And I did before and after photos because I take pictures with everything. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to post every photo. But I post those photos because you only have 30 minutes of time.
Yeah.
A picture is timeless. So I can look at those photos. And I study those photos. I'm like, okay, what could I have done better? And then I went and saw, I was doing some more research. And then this guy Josh O.P. from the UK, I met him actually 2 weeks ago at the Barber Expo in Connecticut, and it was just like, it started from scratch, saw different systems and different sections and different blending, and I was in shock. So I was just indulging it. So hours upon hours, I'm taking notes, I'm writing it, I repeat it, I rewind it, all that. And so that helped me, but because I'm cutting hair, people trust me. I'm like, hey, I'm going to try a different system on you, or I'm going to try a different fade on your beard. After a while, it's not the first client that comes in and never met you before, but they trust me, and it always comes out, better. And everybody's different though with hair. What I've learned throughout the time I've been cutting, you could think you know everything, but the next day you're like, crap. You got to figure something else out because it didn't work for this person. Their hair types are different. The scalp's different. You got to be careful with every person because I still learn with different hair. If they're looking for like a skin fade, but it has blonde hair, it looks like they're bald. So you got to figure out, okay, this might be better for you, but I want to be able to accommodate for anything they want. But if there was a change, I would show pictures. I was like, hey, I have a cool idea. We could still do the same thing, but I want to show you a couple because it's better to show than just do it and then not that they won't be happy. So that's one, through the courses and everything, I thank them, but I put my work into it. You got to spend money to get to where you want to be, and it's a 4-year course for the UK.
The UK one,
and I'm literally just finishing. I have like a couple more courses left with it, and
so is that like UK style haircuts and like what they're doing over there?
Yeah, so they have different haircuts. So if I showed you some pictures, you're gonna go, "Wow!" It's like you're never gonna do that here. But I enjoy it because you start learning more of the sections, the line theory. Line theory is how you're pulling hair over directions, pulling the hair one way or the other, and seeing how the hair will flow. And this day and age right now, a lot of people like that messy hair.
Yeah.
I see a lot of kids with that. And, sometimes they want a taper. Sometimes they want a fade. I've changed people because I'm like, listen, give me a shot at this. And from there on, they love that one instead. Yeah. Sometimes it lasts longer for them too because, it's just, I want them to feel good when they walk out of there. It's the most rewarding thing for me.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I have to imagine like some people really want a different hairstyle, right?
Yeah.
Like they want something that not everybody's walking around with, so having that in the toolbox is pretty cool.
No, it's exciting for me. And I mean, I don't know. I think I actually did this when I was cutting you, and I'm like, wow, that's a cool, I get excited about it because it's like the blend's right. The blend's on point.
I mean, I got asked. So I went to that event afterwards, and we're standing there having a couple drinks, hanging out, and this lady asked me if I was one of the Kelsey brothers.
That's awesome.
It was funny. Obviously, I think, but it was because of the haircut, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's that skin fade, and it's pretty cool. And my beard's looking good. It's starting. It's getting longer, so it looks good where you fix it up. I still haven't done the blow dryer thing.
It's all right. We'll do it again.
It takes so much time.
No, it does. That's the one thing. Like, it does. I got to tell you something. So I cut my own hair.
Yeah.
I've been cutting it for about 5 years, and it's
I don't know how you do that.
I had a 3-way mirror. The first time, shaved my head, started over. The second time, I was doing a mid-skin fade. I was learning from YouTube videos, and it's just little bit by little bit. Now I can get it down in 30 minutes.
That would mess me up. You have to do it backwards, right? In the mirror.
Left hand with your clippers. And so I was like, you know what? And then just got better because it's hard because I had a guy that was cutting me. And I can see lines, I was like, I see it in the back of the mirror when I get home. I'm like, damn, I was like, I just want to get, let the line out. And so me personally, I just said, you know what? COVID happened too. And I was still cutting myself. And I was just like, you know what? It's like, then I'm just going to keep doing it until I trust someone. Sure. But I've let a couple people do a couple tapers. And the girl that I'm, she's working with me, she cuts really well, and I said, you know what? I want you to do it just a regular fade on me. Yeah. Perfect. It was awesome. I was just like, this is great, but I don't let anybody touch my beard yet. One day maybe they will, but yeah, it's a thing because I remember last summer. It was last summer. Yeah, I was trying to trim the bottom of it in my house, and my little girl opened the door. And I took 2 inches off, and I was like, no. And I was like, all right, whatever. But, I just let it grow out. I grew it out, but summertime, I take about a couple inches off. Yeah. And you always have to trim it a small trim, like even less than a quarter of an inch after 6 weeks. Because what happens is that split ends, it'll start splitting up into your root, and it will stop growing. So it slows down. Very slow process. Interesting. So that's why when I say this much, that's all you need.
Even just a little bit.
Just a little bit. And it grows a lot faster by doing that. It's just like for women's hair.
It's funny you say that too, because I hadn't gotten my hair cut in a while or my beard done a bit, and I feel like it's growing faster after you cut it a couple weeks ago. Like I was looking at it this morning, I was like, oh, it really does look like it's coming back in quicker.
Yeah. Been trying to educate myself a little bit more on like the beard balm, the beard oil, the beard butter. What I've learned, because I met this big guy, had bigger beard than I've ever seen, and he came in and he actually educated me.
The beard butter.
The beard butter. And so the beard oil is more for your hair roots. Okay. And it's for your scalp. It's just like shampoo is for your scalp for your hair. Now, beard balm is like more of that shape, and it's more for the hair. The hair and beard butter is like usually just put a little bit in at night because you don't want to put like any oils as much because it will ruin your pillow. Got it. But I never knew any of that. Like I thought I did, but I always open for options. Always open to learn more stuff. And if someone knows more about it, I'll ask them. It's just like a workout. Yeah. It's like the same workout. This is the only workout I'm going to work out. But they're always just open for other things. So I always look for, open-minded, very open-minded for that. So, yeah.
Do you think, this is something I wanted to ask you. Yeah. And so growing up, so I grew up as my mom, and I've got 3 sisters.
Holy crap.
So is me, and a house full of women.
I had my mom and my 2 sisters.
Yeah. So we always went to like hair salons growing up.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't think I went to my first barber when I was like, God, I want to say 22.
22.
It was like Northgate Barbershop over in Glens Falls. There's still a barbershop there. It's not Northgate anymore, though. Crap, I can't think of the name of it.
Glen Street? No.
No, Upper Glen. It's in the Roxy Plaza over there.
I don't know what
where like the KFC's over there.
Yep, I know. There was a barbershop there, and I just couldn't remember. But I know what you're reading.
We're talking 25 years ago. It was Northgate Barbershop. Now it's... Oh, crap. Sorry, guys, over there. I can't remember what the name of it is. But anyway, that was my first time going to a barbershop. So to me, I feel like in, I don't know, maybe the last 10 years specifically, right? But definitely the last 5 years. Has there been like a resurgency of barbershops? Because I never, like Glens Falls, like Northgate was the only one. Like you come down here and there was some old school barbers, all the guys were like, in their late 60s, and but now like there's barbershops everywhere.
There's barbershops in like another 5 years. There'll be another 10 barbershops in Saratoga. Yeah. What I take pride in, and it will always be like that, is quality over quantity. Quantity comes in time. Yeah. And if I was just meeting with you, sometimes my clients, like new clients, if I take another 5 minutes, the next client that's waiting 5 more minutes will be another 5 minutes too, because I want to take my time and make sure the cuts are they will be happy with it.
But do you feel like there's been like a comeback of the barbershop though? Because I think so. There was just like they just weren't that prevalent.
It was not
in like let's say the 90s and maybe the early 2000s.
I agree. Yeah.
I mean, I never really saw them. You see hair salons everywhere.
Yep.
Right? And now, and again, I think it's a great thing. But now there's like barbershops like everywhere.
Yep.
Which is good. You know, I don't know. I was like, or is that just me? I thought maybe it was just me.
No.
Because maybe there's guys, maybe.
Listen, that was like when I just started working for AT&T. This was a long time ago. Yeah. This was in 2010. Yeah, 2010. I shaved my head a lot, and then I started growing my hair back. And where did I go? I went to CNC Unisex in Saratoga.
Right.
And that's where I went because I didn't go to a barbershop. But now you're right. I do agree that more barbershops are going out. But it's, the thing is.
I mean, they're not all created equal, obviously.
No, they're not. But what I think is when I started really getting into cutting, women get pampered all the time, right? They get their nails done. They get their feet done. Men, what do? So nice hot towel shave. You get a neck shave.
That was nice.
It's just very relaxing. You put your feet up. It's just like men need to be treated as well too.
Put that hot towel on my face, wrapped me all up.
Yeah,
that was pretty good, man.
Oh yeah,
that was pretty good.
No, it's coming. It's making a comeback. That's great. But I know for a fact that there's going to be more out there, which is great. I don't want any competition with anybody. I know there's a couple of barbershops down the street too. It's just the way my clients will come to me.
Yeah.
And either way.
I think your vibe attracts your tribe, I really do. And I think, having sampled the product, right? I think being always educating yourself and being passionate about what you do and taking it seriously and having fun, I think that's huge because there's a lot of people out there that, I've gotten some bad freaking haircuts in the last few years, man. And trying somebody new or whatever it was. And I remember one kid, I won't say the barbershop, but somewhere in the Tri-County area. Yeah. But I might have shared this with you. But anyway, this one kid, I'd never had my hair cut. He only cut my hair once. Mm-hmm. And oh my God, I'm pretty sure he was going through drug withdrawals. Hands were shaking. I felt bad for him.
Yeah.
But he did an awful job. I legit left there and went and got my head shaved somewhere else because it was just so bad. This was years ago. It's probably 5 years ago. But yeah, it's. There's.
I've had those too. I've had some bad experiences.
It's tough, man. Yeah, it's tough. So tell me. So right now it's you. You've got. Another person cutting with you.
Yep.
What are your long-term plans? What do you?
Long-term plan is probably by next month I'll be hiring one more person, and make sure they get fed first. They want to make sure the clientele comes in.
Leaders eat last, right?
So either way, if it's my clients, that's fine. But if they're feasible to get a cut from them, I trust her. I trust her right now. I want to make sure they're okay and be able to cut the specific types of hair, different hairstyles. But like I said, I'm just going to keep an eye on them, but I'm not super, super strict. I just want to make sure they can get the haircut done in certain times and make sure clients are very completely satisfied. That's what's most important. I did that in corporate for many years, and that's why I don't regret what I went through, because I was in business. But I wanted to, have a nice established business for, for the people that are coming in. So I don't want them to be starving, looking for people, looking. Yeah. But, I tell them a couple tips and tricks. What really helped me is social media. I took a couple pictures here and there. I started doing that, doing videos. I was and when I left when I left the other barbershop, it's if something happens, hopefully people will come. Mm-hmm. And I was so shocked. I was like, wow, you really like my presence and my haircuts. Yeah. And I really appreciate that. So, I just, I try to, do everything I can for them, to make sure they're feeling good. And sometimes I learn so much from them, from clients, people with wisdom, and then vice versa. I hear so many different bad stories, good stories, vacations, and it doesn't matter. It's not like I'm not, even if I'm tired that day, I'm still cutting, and I can, time goes by so quick because you're just chatting with people.
Yeah.
It's the most exciting thing.
Yeah. So if somebody wants to find you guys, book an appointment, learn more about you, see your styles, that kind of stuff, where do they find you?
So it's a website of www.kjsbarbershop.com. And there's an Instagram as well of KJS Barbershop _Saratoga. And right now I'm just taking my time. I don't want to advertise too much, but I want to be able to get out there.
Yeah.
Because, I'm busy enough, but I was getting to a point that I was getting, I'm getting too busy. It's like these people are going to start coming in and I'm not going to be able to. So I was blessed that, Reagan came in, and it was perfect because there's so many new people out there that I've never met. And, but moving forward in the future, having one more employee right now, but I want to be convenient for like the easy convenience. So before I even started building my shop, I wanted to figure out what would be the best ways, the most efficient ways for the employees to be happier and the clients to be happier. So the website is super easy. You book quickly.
Yeah, it's great. Book right online.
It was right online. You can always cancel through a text message, which makes life easier. And the employees, we have to do towels. So all I have to do is throw the towels in this washer and dryer all in one, and it washes and dries automatically. So the next morning it has it. But I wanted to make it easy for them, so they could be able to be more focused on, getting out there, cutting their hair. And I want them to be able to, utilize social media a little bit because it does work. It does.
As much as I hate it, it definitely.
I mean, before I even went to Paul Mitchell, I actually just started Paul Mitchell. I was only Facebook because I'm 40. That's how I grew up. I got it when I went through Plattsburgh. So then everybody could do Facebook, and so a friend of mine, Nikki, he was in school with me, and he goes, "Kris, you got to go through TikTok and Instagram." I'm like, I know, but I don't know how to use it. So I had to really go into it and indulge. So I started utilizing Instagram, TikTok. I'm still working on with the videos, but it does help. It does help because people like to see that. And, it feels good when one of these kids, they see my Instagram, like, you going to post that? Like, I don't know, maybe, I don't want to.
Oh, yeah, they want their, post them,
that
tag
feels
them.
really good for me.
It,
and I'm like, yeah, it's like, we'll see, so, because I take a lot of pictures. I can't do it every day, but, if you don't see me posting, it's because I'm busy. Yeah. And, but yeah, it's just the most fun thing. Cause my mom, she was in business. She ran a barbershop, and she goes, "Kris, it's like, do you realize you're running a business now? You're doing really well."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "I know, Mom. It's like, it's a dream." And that's what I wanted to do when I left the school. And like, but there's steps, there's structure, you have to figure out what would be the best ways. And you want a plan of what you're going to purchase and go through there. So, but moving forward, my main goal is to just keep making sure my employees are taken care of. Because if you take care of them, they're going to take care of me, hopefully. And, have my wife home by the end of the year.
It's awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming in, man.
No, man, it was an honor.
Yeah,
it was an honor. When you got when you texted me, I'm like, really? That's awesome.
Yeah,
I would love that.
Yeah.
So, but thank you for everything, Mike. Appreciate
absolutely.
it.
Happy to have you on, and thanks for the great cut. And if you guys are looking for a new barber, maybe even if you're not, check out KJ. And
one last thing.
What do you got?
I've met people that came to me because they had their own barber, and I've told them to go back to their barber. The big reason is like, that barber has their salary per year. If you think about it, if I see you every 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
That 2 weeks added up divided by 52 weeks. And that doesn't matter to me. If you have your own barber, stay with your barber. If there's a bad experience or they leave or they move, I'm okay with that. But, out of respect for any barbers out there, I want to make sure everybody's taken care of for themselves. I don't want to ever steal from another, that's it. Me personally, I'm a different breed. I've always been like that. And, I care for others.
Awesome.
Thanks for everything, Mike.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on, brother. Thanks for listening, everybody. And obviously you can find us everywhere you listen to the podcast: YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, Apple. I think that's it. Till next time. Thanks, everybody.
SkyZone Trampoline Park in Queensbury, New York. Elevate the way you celebrate at the best kids' birthday party place near you. We take care of all the hassle with planning birthday parties so you and your kids can focus on having fun. Check out our birthday party packages including private party areas, party invitations, supplies, a party host, and more. Come to SkyZone Queensbury.
The superpower that every citizen has is the ability to control where they spend their time, money, and attention. By focusing these on supporting local businesses, you are having a profound impact on your friends, your family, and your local community. So if you want to change the world, you can start with buying local.